The speedometer needle hovered at 90. Jack Miller knew he was pushing it, but Michael had waited 30 years for this moment. He wasn't about to be late now. The metal box bounced on the passenger seat with each pothole. Bronze star with a V for valor. Should have been on Michael's chest in 91, not collecting dust in some Pentagon file cabinet. 300 kilometers, 4 hours, one last mission. The engine coughed. No, not now. Another cough. Then silence except for tires on asphalt. The old Ford F-150 coasted to the shoulder, dying in the Nevada heat. Jack slammed the wheel. Of all the times for his 20-year-old truck to give up, he popped the hood. Steam hissed from a cracked radiator hose. Fixable if he had parts, or time, or anything except dessert in every direction. The rumble came first, then chrome and leather, 4 bikes rolling up like vultures to roadkill. Well, got yourself. Some trouble, Grandpa. The leader dismounted. Mid-30s, prison tats crawling up his neck. His crew spread out, semicircle formation. Jack had seen it before. Different continent, same predators. Radiators shot. You boys got any water? The Kui, leader's eyes found Jack's forearm. Marine Corps eagle, globe and anchor. Faded, but unmistakable. Jarhead, huh? He grinned, showing meth-rotted teeth. My old man was Army. Said you guys were all talk. Your old man sounds like a smart guy. Wrong answer. The punch came fast, caught Jack in the ribs. He doubled over. More from surprise than pain. Check his truck, the leader ordered. See what soldier boy's hauling? I've got nothing worth. Shut it. Another punch. This one Jack saw coming, rolled with it. Still hurt like hell. One of them grabbed his phone from the dashboard. Another found the metal box. What's this? Some kind of award. Don't touch that. Or what? The leader opened the box, whistled. Bronze star. You kill some towel heads for... This? It's my brother's. He's... Just give it back. Dead brother? The leader laughed. Even better. He won't miss it. Jack moved without thinking. Muscle memory from Paris Island, refined in Fallujah. The leader went down hard. Metal box. Flying. But there were 4 of them. They worked him over good. Nothing broken, but his face would be a mess. One eye already swelling shut. Crazy old bastard. The leader spat blood, grabbed the medal. Thanks for the souvenir. They roared off, leaving Jack in the dirt. He tried to stand, made it to his knees. The desert spun. Mike. I'm sorry. He screamed it. Raw, primal. 3 decades of guilt and grief ripping from his throat. The desert answered with engine noise. Not bikes this time. Deeper. Harleys, 40 riders, leather vests gleaming with patches. They rolled past. Then the lead bike U-turned. Others followed. You okay, brother? Jack looked up through his good eye. Gray beard, Vietnam-era patches. Funeral. My brother. They took his medal. Medical Corps, someone called. A woman, built like a linebacker, knelt beside him. Let me see that eye. No time. Gotta get to... Where's the funeral? Arlington West, Las Vegas. The bearded rider stiffened. Name? Michael Miller, Master Sergeant, 1st Marines. Silence spread through the group like ripple on water. Fallujah? Someone asked. Jack nodded. Jesus Christ, you're his brother? The mechanic he always talked about? You knew Mike? Knew him? The rider pulled up his sleeve. Shrapnel scars, old but deep. Your brother dragged me 200 meters under fire, saved 6 of us that day. Another rider stepped forward. He trained me at Pendleton. Toughest son of a bitch I ever met. Best NCO in the Gulf, an older woman added. Bar none. The bearded rider, Jack caught the name tape, Morrison, turned to the group. Listen up. We got a situation. Jack Miller needs to make his brother's funeral. Some punks jumped him, took Michael Miller's Bronze Star. The air changed. 40 engines revved as one. Description? Jack managed it through split lips. 4 riders. Maybe 25 to 35, leader with neck tattoos. Riding east, Morrison grabbed his radio. Breaker 19, this is Iron Horse. Need all ears on. 4-bike crew lifted military valor medal. Heading east from mile marker 47. Bronze Star belongs to KIA Marine. This is a recovery operation. Static. Then voices flooded the channel. Copy, Iron Horse. This is Desert Rat. I'm at the Troy exit. Nothing yet. Big Bear here. Got eyes on the interstate. Roadrunner checking the back roads. A young rider, couldn't be more than 25, approached with a toolkit. Marine? Jack nodded. My dad talked about your brother. Said he never left anyone behind. He knelt by the truck. Neither do we. Within minutes, they had Jack patched up. Ice pack on his eye, proper bandages. Someone produced a new radiator hose from their saddlebag. Always carry spares, the kid explained, working fast. Desert's no joke. Morrison's radio crackled. Iron. Horse, this is Condor. Got eyes on 4 bikes at the Texaco, mile marker 71. Lead rider's got neck ink. Copy, Condor. ETA 15 minutes. Do not engage. Repeat. Do not engage. Morrison turned to Jack. Can you ride? Maybe. Garcia, your bike's smoothest. Take our Marine. A younger guy, army patches, rolled his Harley forward. Hop on, sir. We'll get you there. But the medal, we'll handle it. You focus on making that funeral. 20 bikes roared east while 20 stayed with Jack. The kid had the truck running in 10 minutes flat. Follow us, Morrison ordered. We'll escort you in. They moved like a convoy. Jack in his truck, surrounded by steel and chrome. The radio kept crackling updates. Visual confirmation. 4 subjects. Bronze Star located. Local sheriff en route. Negative on sheriff. This is family business. Jack gripped the wheel, watching the bikes weave protective patterns around him. Just like Mike's squad in Fallujah. Never leave anyone behind. Morrison's voice. Iron Horse to all units. Remember, these boys disrespected a fallen Marine, a hero. But we do this clean. No blood on Michael Miller's name. Ura, someone responded. Others echoed it. The radio crackled again. Subjects contained. Package recovered. 1 runner. Let him run. We got what we came for. 20 minutes out from Vegas, the forward group rejoined. A rider pulled alongside Jack's window, held up the metal box. Thought, you might want this. Jack almost lost it right there. 30 years of holding it together. And now, thank you. Thank your brother. Man saved a lot of lives. They created Vegas like a military operation. Morrison radioed ahead. Arlington West. This is Iron Horse Actual. Got a package for delivery. ETA 5 minutes. The service started, Iron Horse. Copy. Tell them to wait. Michael Miller's brother is incoming. They pulled into the cemetery like thunder. 40 bikes, then Jack's truck. He parked crooked, half on the grass. Didn't matter. The crowd turned. 100 people, maybe more. Uniforms everywhere. Marines, Army, Navy, even some Air Force. Jack ran. Actually ran. Bad knee and all. The crowd parted. There was Mike. Flag-draped casket. Honor guard. The whole 9 yards. But Jack only saw the young man in dress blues. His nephew. Mike's boy. Tommy. His voice broke. I'm sorry. Traffic. And then, Uncle Jack? The kid looked confused. What happened to your face? Long story. He held out the metal box. This is from your dad. Took a while to get here. Tommy opened it. The Bronze Star caught the light. He earned it. In '91, Jack continued. Saved 6 Marines. Would have been 7, but the last one was too stubborn to die. Morrison stepped forward, removed his cover. That stubborn Marine was me, son. Your father went through hell to drag my ass to safety. Others came forward, each with a story. Mike pulling them from burning vehicles. Mike holding position so others could retreat. Mike being Mike. The chaplain waited until they finished. Then, Master Sergeant Michael James Miller exemplified the finest traditions of the Marine Corps: courage, honor, commitment. But most of all, brotherhood. Jack finished. The rifle salute cracked across the desert. Taps played. They folded the flag with mechanical precision, handed it to Tommy, then something unscripted. Morrison stepped forward, placed a small pin on the casket. Others followed, patches, pins, unit coins, each one a promise. We remember. Jack was last. He knelt, pressed his hand to the wood. Mission complete, Mike. Just like you taught me. Never leave anyone behind. He stood, saluted, held it until his arm shook. When he turned, the bikers had formed two lines, an honor guard of leather and chrome. He walked between them, Tommy at his side. Uncle Jack? Those guys said they knew Dad. Yeah, kid. Your old man had a way of collecting. Strays. Guess it runs in the family. Morrison approached as they reached the cars. Miller, got something for you. He handed Jack a vest. Leather with fresh patches. You're one of us now. Your brother would have wanted it. Jack traced the embroidered words, Miller's Marauders. Below it, Fallujah 2004, never forgotten. I'm just a mechanic, and your brother was just a Marine. Morrison grinned. Funny how that works. They stayed until sunset. Stories flowing like bourbon. Mike the warrior, Mike the joker, Mike the brother who talked about his mechanic kid brother constantly. Said you could fix anything. One guy laughed. Except him. Nobody could fix Mike, Jack replied. He was perfect as is, just too stupid to duck. Laughter, tears, the good stuff. As shadows lengthened, Jack stood to leave. His truck was there, somehow washed and waxed. Tank full, new tires. The eye. Hell? Brothers take care of brothers, Morrison shrugged. Mile marker 47, you said you couldn't be late, that your brother waited his whole life. Yeah, wrong. He waited his whole death. 30 years in that box, waiting to come home. You didn't just make it on time, Marine. You brought an army. Jack looked back at the grave. Fresh flowers everywhere. The medal finally where it belonged. Ura, he whispered. Ura, 40 voices answered. He drove home with an escort. 20 bikes ahead, 20 behind. CB radio crackling, with chatter. War stories, jokes. Mike's name in every other sentence. At the state line, they peeled off one by one. Job done. But Morrison stayed until Jack's exit. Next Memorial Day, he called over the engine noise. We ride to D.C. You in? Jack nodded. Outstanding. Mike always said you were reliable. He said a lot of things. All true, turns out. Morrison saluted, then roared off. Jack sat in his driveway for a long time. The metal box was empty now, but somehow heavier. On the passenger seat, a stack of business cards. 40 names and numbers. Call anytime, scrawled on each. He looked at his battered face in the mirror. Black eye, split lip, worth it. His phone buzzed. Text from Tommy. Thanks for today, Uncle Jack. Dad would be proud. Another. P.S. Mom wants to know if you're coming to dinner Sunday. She says bring your biker friends. Jack laughed. Actually, laughed. First time in days. Inside, he set the empty metal box on the mantel. Next to it, the leather vest. On the wall, that photo of Mike in dress blues. Cocky grin, like he owned the world. Mission complete, you stupid jarhead. Jack raised a beer to the photo. Until next time. Because with Marines, there was always a next time. Death was just a longer deployment. He checked the calendar. Memorial Day was 8 months out. Time enough to get the truck perfect. Time enough to learn some rider hand signals. Time enough to become the brother Mike always said he was. The phone rang. Morrison. Miller. Forgot. To mention, Route 66, annual ride for Gold Star families. You in? When? Next month. I'll be there. Outstanding. Oh, and Jack? That thing with the punks today? Word's already spreading. Don't be surprised if you start seeing more bikes at veteran events. Lot of us knew Mike. Lot of us owe him. The line went quiet. Then, he talked about you constantly, Said his little brother could rebuild an engine blindfolded. Said you were the smart one. Mike was always full of shit. Yeah, That too. Morrison chuckled. See you next month, Marine. The house fell silent. Jack sat in the dark, cold beer, warming in his hand. Tomorrow he'd go back to work, fix cars, deal with customers, pretend the last 3 days hadn't happened. But tonight, he had brothers to remember. Stories to sort, a nephew to call. And somewhere in Vegas, under fresh-turned earth, Master Sergeant Michael Miller finally wore his Bronze Star. 30 years late, but right on time, just like Jack promised. Semper Fi. The clock read 3:47 a.m. when Jack woke up. Not from nightmares, those stopped years ago. This time it was his phone. Miller? Morrison's voice, urgent. We got a problem. Jack sat up, instantly alert. Old habits. What kind of problem? Remember those punks from yesterday? The one that got away? Yeah? He's running his mouth. Posted Mike's name online. Called him a baby killer. Said we're all... Morrison paused. Just some real ugly stuff. Where? That's the thing. Kids connected. His old man runs a militia group. Anti-government types. They're planning something for the Veterans Day parade. Talking about exposing war criminals. Jack was already pulling on his jeans. They don't get to use Mike's name. Agreed. Meeting at Danny's diner. 20 minutes. Copy that. The diner glowed like a beacon in pre-dawn darkness. 15 bikes. Already there. More pulling in. Jack recognized faces from the funeral. Word traveled fast in the veteran community. Inside, Morrison had maps spread across 3 tables. Here's what we know. The kid, Travis Mendez, is part of his father's group. Calls themselves the True Patriots. They've been harassing Gold Star. Families showing up at funerals with signs. Westboro Baptist style? Someone asked. Worse, these guys are armed. And now they're fixated on Mike's unit, calling Fallujah a war crime, planning to expose the truth at the parade. A female rider, Jack remembered her as Corman Teller, slammed her coffee cup down. Mike's widow is supposed to speak at that. Parade, his kids carrying the colors. The room went quiet. So we stopped them, Jack said simply. Morrison shook his head. Can't just roll up on them. They're looking for a fight. Want to paint veterans as thugs. We need to be smarter. What do you suggest? An older man in the corner spoke up. Information. Warfare. I ran PSYOPs in Vietnam. These groups, they're all about image. We flipped the script. He stood, walked to the map. They want confrontation. We give them commemoration. They expect violence. We give them veterans, hundreds of them. Counter-protest? No, a wall. Living wall of veterans between them and the parade. Silent. Disciplined. Let them scream at our backs while Gold Star families have their day. Jack studied the map. That's a lot of ground to cover, which is why we need more bodies. The PSYOPs. Vet, his patch read Watkins, pulled out a phone. I still have contacts. American Legion, VFW, Vietnam Vets Motorcycle Club, even some active duty on leave. How many can we get? Give me 12 hours? 500, maybe more. Morrison looked around the room. All in favor? Unanimous agreement. Jack, you're Mike's brother. This has to come from you. Jack nodded. Make the calls. I'll handle the rest. By noon, the operation was in full swing. Social media lit up with the real story. Mike's Bronze Star ceremony disrupted, medal stolen, veteran community rallying to protect Gold Star families from harassment. The narrative flipped overnight. Local news picked it up, then national. Images of Jack's beaten face next to Mike's official portrait. The story of the medal's 30-year journey. Travis Mendez deleted his posts. Too late. Screenshots everywhere. The True Patriots tried damage, control. Posted videos calling it fake news. Nobody bought it. Veterans Day morning. 4 a.m. again. Jack stood in the staging area, watching hundreds of bikes roll in, cars too, vans full of Legion members. A bus from the Marine Corps League. Morrison. Appeared with coffee. Final count's over 800. Still coming. Jesus. Your brother touched a lot of lives. Tommy approached, dressed blues immaculate. Uncle Jack? Mom wants to know where we should stand. With me, kid. Front and center. They formed up at dawn. 800 veterans in a human chain along the parade route. Not a word spoken, just presence. The true patriots showed up at 7, 30 of them, maybe 40. Signs and bullhorns ready. They stopped dead, seeing the wall. Jack stood in the center, Tommy on one side, Morrison on the other. Behind them, every generation since World War II. Wheelchairs to walkers to active duty on leave. Travis Mendez was there, trying to look tough behind his father. Their eyes met across 50 feet of asphalt. The kid flinched first. For an hour, the true patriots tried to provoke responses, shouted slogans, waved signs. The wall stood silent. Then the parade started. Gold Star families first. Widows, orphans, parents who'd buried children. They walked between the wall and the protesters, protected, honored, safe. Mike's widow, Sarah, paused at Jack's position. Touched his hand, whispered, "Thank you." The crowd behind the wall erupted, not in anger but applause. For the families, for the fallen, for the cost of service. The true patriots' chants drowned in thunderous appreciation. They tried louder bullhorns. Useless against 800 voices singing the national anthem. By noon they'd given up, slunk away like beaten dogs. Travis Mendez last to leave, shoulders slumped in defeat. The wall held until the last Gold Star family passed. Then, as one, they turned and marched in the parade themselves. Not planned, just happened. Jack found himself between Morrison and Watkins, Tommy still at his side. "Your brother would have loved this," Morrison said. "He'd have called us idiots for losing sleep." That too. They reached the review stand. The mayor, a Desert Storm vet himself, stood to salute. The crowd followed, thousands of hands raised in respect. Jack thought about Mike, about medals in boxes, about 30 years of waiting, about punks, who'd never understand service or sacrifice, and he smiled, because Mike was right. His little brother could fix anything, even broken honor, even stolen valor, even a nation's memory. One parade at a time. That night, Jack sat in his garage working on the truck. New radiator hose held fine, but he wanted everything perfect for the next run. His phone rang. Unknown number. Jack Miller? Speaking. "This is Sergeant Major Reynolds, 1st Marines. I served with your brother. Okay? Heard about yesterday. Both incidents. The medal and the parade. Word travels." "Indeed. I'm calling because Mike saved my life too. Twice. And I have something that belongs to your family." "What kind of something?" "Letters. Mike wrote them but never sent them. To you, to your parents, to Sarah. He gave them to me before that last patrol. Said if anything happened." Jack set down his wrench. "He made it home from that patrol." "He did. But he was different after. Couldn't bring himself to send them. Made me promise to hold them until..." Reynolds paused. "Until the time was right. And now's the time? After what you did? Yeah, now's the time." They met at a truck stop halfway between. Reynolds was older than Jack expected. Silver-haired, but still ramrod straight. He handed over a manila envelope. 23 letters, dating back to '03. Jack thumbed through them. His name on several. His parents, dead now 10 years. Sarah. "Tommy, why didn't he send them? Read them. You'll understand." Jack did, sitting in his truck while Reynolds waited. Mike's handwriting, talking about fears, doubts, the weight of command. Kids he'd sent home in bags. Decisions that ate at him. The last letter was dated a week before he died. Addressed to Jack. "Little brother," it started. "If you're reading this, then Reynolds kept his promise. Means I'm gone. Means you're probably wondering why I never said this stuff in person. Truth is, I was scared, not of dying. Did that every day over here. Scared of disappointing you. You always looked at me like I was some kind of hero. Didn't have the heart to tell you heroes don't exist. Just people doing what has to be done. But you knew that already, didn't you? You were the smart one. Take care of Sarah and Tommy. Tell them I love them more than words. Tell them I'm sorry for all the missed birthdays and bedtime stories. And Jack? That thing in Fallujah everyone talks about? Dragging Morrison and the others out? Want to know the truth? I was running away. Panicked. Blind scared. Just happened. To grab them on the way. Dumbest thing I ever did turned into the smartest. That's the real secret of being a Marine. We're all scared shitless. We just run toward each other instead of away. Semper Fi, you magnificent bastard. Mike. Jack finished reading, wiped his eyes. Reynolds still waiting. He never told anyone, Jack said, about being scared. Told me, night before he wrote that. Said fear kept him sharp, kept his Marines alive. But the medal, he earned that medal. Fear doesn't diminish courage, it defines it. They sat in comfortable silence. Then Reynolds asked, "What now?" "Now? I give Sarah her letters. Tommy gets his. Then I frame mine. Put it next to his picture." "And the truth? About Fallujah?" Jack considered. Mike saved 6 Marines. How he felt doing it doesn't change that. No, it doesn't. Reynolds stood, to leave, then turned back. "Miller, your brother talked about you constantly. Said you could fix any engine. True?" "Pretty much." "Think you could fix a '67 Mustang? Been sitting in my garage 20 years. Mike always said he'd help me restore it when he got back." Jack smiled. "Bring it by. We'll get her running." "Mike said you'd say that." After Reynolds left, Jack called Morrison, told him about the letters, about Mike's confession. Morrison laughed. "Scared? Hell, we all were. That's why we followed him. Man who admits fear but moves anyway. That's leadership." He never said didn't have to. We knew. Why do you think we all loved him? The next call was harder. Sarah cried when he told her about the letters. Happy tears, she insisted. Tommy wanted to read his immediately. By evening, Jack was back in his garage. The Mustang would arrive next week. Morrison was bringing his Harley for a tune-up. 3 other vets had called about various vehicles. Apparently, Mike had promised lots of people his mechanic brother would fix their rides. "Typical," Jack muttered. But he was smiling. The metal box still sat on his mantel, empty now but somehow full. Full of memory, full of meaning, full of Mike's real legacy. Not the bronze and ribbon, but the lives he'd touched. Jack's phone buzzed. Text from Tommy. "Reading Dad's letter. He says I should learn engines from you. Can I come by this weekend?" Saturday morning. "Bring coffee." "Roger that, Uncle Jack." Jack looked at Mike's photo. Same cocky grin, like he'd planned this all along. Maybe he had. "Still running ops from the grave, you sneaky bastard." The photo naturally said nothing, but Jack swore the grin got bigger. Outside, desert wind rattled the garage door. Somewhere, a motorcycle engine rumbled to life. The sound of brotherhood, the sound of memory, the sound of promises kept. Jack picked up his wrench, got back to work. Engines didn't fix themselves, neither did families, neither did honor. But with enough time, enough tools, enough stubborn Marine determination, anything could be rebuilt.